Hello everyone. Our channel updates the latest and fastest manhwa summary videos. We hope you will support us by subscribing to the channel to reach our goal of 1000 subscribers soon. Magic Emperor Chapter 847. The elder expert was so terrified his face went pale, and he shut up instantly, not daring to say another word for fear of getting dragged into the mess. Still, deep down he was freaking out, muttering anxiously about how the sect leader was ready to sacrifice the entire lineup of elders and experts, a move that would definitely wreck the sect and destroy its reputation. Hearing the agonizing screams and seeing rivers of blood with bodies scattered everywhere, even the sect leader started feeling overwhelmed and regretted losing his cool. He took a deep breath to pull himself together, then closed his eyes, feeling helpless against the chaos unfolding before him. What could he do now to keep his authority as the big boss? Was he really going to just hand over the whole sect to that brat? But if he chose to run, the reputation he'd built for years would vanish, and he'd become the laughingstock of the world. Sect leader, are you alright, or do you need me to throw out a suggestion? Right in the middle of his stress, a guy with a shifty face and squinty, scheming eyes approached him. He whispered mysteriously that the underground crescent moon marsh was packed with pits and traps where even gods would get crushed if they fell in, so all they had to do was lure the enemy there to finish him off. The sect leader's eyes lit up like he'd found his last shred of hope. He nodded with a smug grin, praising the idea as brilliant and deciding to turn that place into the enemy's grave, though he knew he needed some serious bait to lure that crafty guy into the trap. A cold glint flashed in the beast-taming sect leader's eyes as he looked down to check out the battlefield. Zhuo Fan was still fighting like a beast, tearing through opponents like an unstoppable killing machine. About 1,000 yards away, the sixth prince and the Zhuo siblings were hiding out, watching the fight. The sect leader frowned slightly and gave a casual order, because he'd finally found the perfect bait. These people with Zhuo Fan definitely had a close bond, and the deeper that bond, the better the bait would work to manipulate him. Sect leader, how about we grab all three of them, just to be safe? The sect leader calmly nodded, agreeing with the plan. The henchman kept whispering more wick schemes, making the sect leader smile with satisfaction before ordering the plan to be carried out smoothly. The guy bowed, took his orders, and quickly took off to spread the word to the subordinates. At the same time, Zhuo Fan was totally dominating the fight, a far cry from the tough spot he was in when he got cornered by the Heaven and Earth just a sect before. Right now, his movement was so fluid and fast that the ethereal stage experts couldn't even get close to pinning him down. Plus, he had the strongest soul around and solid support from the burning Heaven Golden Dragon King, which boosted his power big time. Throughout the whole fight, the enemies couldn't even touch him, while he kept steamrolling them, leaving everyone terrified. Seemingly totally crushed by Zhuo Fan, the crowd didn't want to take any more hits, so they started a fighting retreat as planned. Because of that, the battlefield slowly shifted away from the center. Zhuo Fan and his dragon soul immediately gave chase, riding the momentum of his victory. Meanwhile, the sixth prince and the Zhuo siblings were still hiding in the woods, watching the terrifying sky battle with total awe. What an absolute beast taking on the whole beast-taming sect solo, and still looking chill. Do you guys think Zhuo will wipe them out in no time? With his personality and skills, that's definitely on the table. Zhuo even also stared in shock, and nodded in impressed approval. I used to think he was just a clever general, but I didn't expect his strength to reach such a scary level after 8 years. If he goes back to Tianmu, I'm definitely never crossing him again. The sixth prince nodded like crazy, looking stoked, because he realized he'd picked the right side. Only Lionel watched his figure with a crush, her cheeks flushed, and her heart racing with her own thoughts. Whoosh. Whoosh. Right when the vibe was high, some sharp whistling sounds suddenly cut through the air. Along with a loud shout, 3 white-haired old men suddenly ambushed the 3 of them from behind. Before they even knew what hit them, these old guys quickly pinned them down and hoisted them up, leaving them totally helpless. Who are you people, and what do you want with this? The sixth prince cried out in a panic, but the old man immediately muffled his mouth. The other 2 were in the same boat, their faces pale with fear. However, with Zhuo Fan's current strength, even from a distance, that scream reached his ears loud and clear. Zhuo Fan frowned and stopped his pursuit. When he turned around, he saw the trio's desperate looks for help and the smug, challenging smirks on the 3 old men's faces. He spotted us. Let's get out of here. With that, the 3 old men spun around and vanished with the hostages at insane speeds. At the same time, the beast-taming sect leader gave a signal, and the crowd surrounding Zhuo Fan scattered immediately to save their own skins. Trying to lure the tiger away from the mountain, "So you guys really think that'll work?" Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and slowly pulled the dragon's soul back into his body. He saw right through their scheme, realizing that their fighting retreat was just to bait him away so their buddies could grab the hostages. But what were they even thinking? Did they seriously think I'm some hero who'd care if those three live or die? They've got it all wrong. Sure enough, once he'd backed off to a safe distance, the beast-taming sect leader shouted a threat that if Zhuo Fan wanted to save these three, he'd have to follow him, or else things would get ugly. After finishing his piece, the sect leader also vanished without a trace. Way up, I didn't even say I was going to save them and you guys already bolted. Zhuo Fan was about to speak up to avoid the hassle, but the other side was already way too far. Looking around at the empty space, he scratched his head and muttered that snatching those guys wouldn't solve anything, since they just followed him on their own, and he had zero intention of risking his neck for them. Zhuo Fan rubbed his nose in annoyance, thought for a second, then decided to just go back to his own business and ignore them. And, not giving a damn about the direction they went, he casually pulled out the flower spirit and asked for directions to its home. The flower spirit looked at Zhuo Fan in terror and shivered while pointing toward a distant direction. Zhuo Fan looked where it was pointing and realized it happened to be the exact same way those guys just ran. Talk about a crappy coincidence. In the end, Zhuo Fan still had to fly that way, but he wasn't planning on a rescue mission, he was just following his own goal, and if anyone got saved, well, that was just luck. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. About an hour later, at a vibrant flower field, there was a small rocky area sitting between three towering, majestic stone pillars. After some wind-splitting sound, the beast-taming sect leader landed right in the middle of the rocks, while the others touched down at the edge of the flower field. They were super careful, with nobody daring to step on the flowers, because it seemed like something terrifying was lurking underneath. Are those elders back yet? What's taking them so long? Looking into the distance, the sect leader asked loudly, looking totally impatient. Everyone around just shook their heads, since there was still no sign of their teammates. With a stressed sigh, the sect leader asked if Zhuo Fan was chasing them. The whole group turned to look back, but they all shook their heads again. This felt weird to the sect leader, and he started getting suspicious. What the hell is going on? Could that kid really be cold enough to just ditch his friends and not come for a rescue? No way, since they were clearly traveling together, they must be close. While he was overthinking it, the three elders who'd done the kidnapping flew in from the horizon. Seeing them, the sect leader cheered up and ordered the three hostages to be tied to the stone pillars as bait to lure the enemy to his death. Got it, we all set. The three elders grinned smugly, dragged the trio to the pillar, and tied them up tight so they couldn't move an inch. This time that brat is definitely going down, there's no way he's escaping the massive net weave he laid out. One old guy laughed wickedly while tying them up, looking at the hostages with total contempt. Hearing that, the sixth prince got absolutely livid. He aggressively kicked the closest old man in the gut and cursed them out for being cowards who dared to use dirty tricks against Mer. Damn. The surprise kick caught the ethereal stage expert off guard, making him lose his balance and tumble right into the flower field below. Seeing that, everyone was stunned and screamed out in a panic, warning him not to touch the flowers.